Coming back to your life. So I just woke up. I just took a shower and everything. It's around 8:30 now. I've just been doing work, or subsequently what time it is, I don't really mind. But there's a word or there's a phrase that I've been really looking into, and I've been seeing on social media a lot, and it resonates with me to a point where it kind of got annoying. It kind of got really annoying, which is coming back to your life. See, that phrase, coming back to your life, is only valid with the presumption that you left your life in some way. And that got me thinking, what does it mean to come back to your life? Let's just take an example of a guy who's working 9 to 5, who's working 9 to 5 in the corporate sense. He's working in a corporate structure, and for him to essentially advance into the different levels of the corporate structure, he would have to embody that life to a certain level. Coming back to your life is only a line that can be used if you left your life in some way. My question is, how would that be possible? Is there an assumption that you had to leave an X amount of things from your life to actually become something in your life? Is there some kind of social structure or hierarchy that actually stopped you from going into what you want in your life? I'm not gonna talk much about the topics of sacrifice because that's a given. Everyone has to sacrifice something to get something back. But I asked this question to myself and to some of my closest friends and to some people that I've asked before, which is, what do they think of coming back to your life? What does it mean to come back to your life? One of my friends said, oh, it's essentially when you come back from sacrificing, from doing something that you never really wanted, and now you're actually doing what you want, and that's when you're coming back to your life. Another friend of mine, a close friend of mine would say, it doesn't really matter what it means to come back to your life as long as you get back to where you want to be. And that got me thinking, is there a point where we leave what we actually are? Because what is your life? What do you embody? Is it the hobbies? Is it the passions? Is it the things that you do for money? Could it be possibly the friends that you left for that pursuit of searching for commonality to get some kind of profit or revenue from it? Is there a possibility that when you left, your life was put on pause, was put on a total stop, and you had to make the choice, and the option that was available was not the most dignified or the best one that you would choose, but you were there. You're going on, you're living, you're choosing things that would actually make you happy, or to a sense, not happy. Because that got me thinking, what is happiness then? What does it truly mean to come back to your life? Is there a reason for it? Is there some type of thought about it? And as you guys can see, I'm talking about these things and I'm just letting the ideas flow. The ideas are as simplified as it could be for me. Coming back to your life requires you to leave it in the first place. But if you were truly alive, you would have never left it in the first place. That's the kicker for me. That's the biggest kicker for me. How could you leave your life? How could you leave your purpose? Well, some people would say, oh, I have to sacrifice it to get some monetary value. But then again, that would be your life. You're sacrificing. Anything that is worth doing requires a certain level of sacrifice. If I wanted to be fucking rich, there would be a level of sacrifice that I would have to be doing for me to attain that. However, if I'm not sacrificing, am I alive? Sorry, phone. If I'm not sacrificing, am I alive? To put it in a knot, coming back to your life is only an idea for those who had to leave something to get something else. But then again, when you go from one state to the other, that's essentially you adding things and refining what your life is. Working is living to a lot of people. Making money is living to a lot of people. As a man, I can only see things worth doing if it has some kind of benefit to me. And when it benefits me, I can then use that benefit towards myself to benefit others. Because what are you doing if you are not trying to get to the next place? If I'm doing a good deed, even in Islam, doing a good deed is in the purpose of trying to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not everything needs to be a means to an end, but everything should be refined to a point where the goal is clear. You could say that praying is a means to an end, and it could be. And some would say it is. But I would say, for you to get something that you would want, you would actually have to make that conscious effort for you to go from one state to the other and then refining the process that comes with it. Coming back to your life. You would only leave it. You would only leave your life if there was something wrong, if there was something negative. But you're not. You're still eating, you're still drinking, you're still taking a shit. So what's the use of giving that idea of having to come back to your life? You are living it. You're not where you want to be, but you're here. Rather than thinking about where you want to be, enjoy the moment at the moment. Enjoy that experience, because then you would be so hard pressed about being somewhere else that you would never really truly embody the lessons that you could have gained in that moment. Weirdly enough, that's actually the only way to come back to your life, which is going back to your purpose. And that is for you to figure out. As a man, I know what my purpose is. As a man, I know what I can do. As a Muslim, I know what my purpose is. As a working man, I know what my purpose is. As a son, I know what my purpose is. As a friend, I know what my purpose is. As a brother, I know what my purpose is. In the end of the day, it's just me trying to get back to that point where I'm living my life. And for a guy, for a man, I would say, your life is only as good as it becomes a service to others. And when it becomes a service to others, it becomes a service to yourself. Pseudo intellectual shit, I guess. Anyways, take care, stay safe, be well. Assalamu alaikum.